Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our half-acre homestead, and today we're going to work towards finishing the quilt top for Mikey and Amanda's wedding. Now I have this just draped on the quilt frame for y'all because it's just still the top, but I have 4 rows here, and as much as it looks like it's random, it's not, because I don't necessarily want 2 of the same colors in the same row. And the first row starts with a block and the next row starts with its mate. Okay, so that's the way it goes: block, mate. Okay, because they have to go opposite. So let's go put together another 2 rows. I'm putting these together 2 rows at a time so that I can have an even spread of color. Okay, now that it was regular block, accompanying block, regular block, accompanying block. So we've got to start now with the regular block again. And those were in greens. It started with a green. So what I want to do is I have all my blocks and coordinating blocks pinned together. And I don't want to start with a green or a blue. I'll put those down through after. Ooh, there's a burgundy. Let's start with, okay, so we need 11 blocks. So here is, and we'll put them upside down so that they come in order. Here is burgundy and coordinating. Ooh, let's do pink. Now, again, some of these blocks are in sets. They're pinned together and they're in sets. So what I do is I take the block that I want off, burgundy to pink, and the coordinating block. And then I put these over here because I've already used some of those colors. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The next row starts with the coordinating block, the next block after that one. That's the only thing you have to mind about, okay? Now, these don't necessarily always line up together, okay? Because I am not an ace-in-the-hole sewer, but you want to make sure everything lines up to the best of your ability. Do yourself a favor. Pin your blocks together. We always use the same seam allowance that we've used throughout the entire quilt. Every block has the same seam allowance, or your end product won't be even. Okay, so remember, this is the end of row number 5. All right. If one block is slightly smaller than the other, then center it. This is the part about quilting that is not for beginners, okay? The more pieces you have in a block, and the more different your blocks are from each other, the more you can run into seam allowance issues down the road. Here we go. And again, there are some that are close enough to the edge of the fabric because of my poor cutting skills that I just want to double down on the stitching just to make sure. Now, because the first one was a full block, the last one has to be a full block. And then we start the next row with the alternating block that matches this one. Okay, so now if you remember, the next row had to start with a full pattern block. And that's this one. Got to remember, it has to go up this way to meet the next block on the row. So now, to pin this all together, trust me, folks, this is one part of your quilt you are going to want to pin. You just got to make sure the sewing seams go together. If nowhere else, but at least at the corners. If you're not going to pin, I highly recommend you pin at least where the blocks meet, and that way you know you will have them square, even if you have a puckered seam. Okay, now we iron. And there's more than just one reason for ironing, folks. It also lets you know if you have any pins that you've missed. I don't have a lot of ironing space. This is about the best I can do. And we iron out that center seam. And if there's a pin in there, you will find it. One of the big parts about making this work is remembering what row you wanted to start with next. And we wanted the green and the orange. Regular block, alternating block, regular block, alternating block. Okay? And now I'm going to take the two rows I just sewed together. This is why I had it draped over my quilt frame, so that I could look at the colors as I went. Whoops, there goes my sewing machine. And again, pin at the corner, pin where the blocks meet. Because if these seams where the blocks meet don't match, your entire quilt will not line up. And remember, folks, always put your pins in at a 90-degree angle to your fabric, because if you put them in this way, your sewing machine, you're going to break a needle, you're going to, you know what I mean? Okay. The bigger the quilt gets, the harder it is to handle. Okay, I'm going to iron this, and then I'm going to lay it out on the quilt frame to show you how far I've gotten so far. And there it is. It's getting harder and harder to show it to you, folks. We have 6 rows. 6 rows done. 5 to go. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm really happy with this. This is the Miss Wolfie from our Half Acre Homestead saying, I'll be back when I have the other 5 rows finished and we're ready to put it on the frame. That may take a few weeks, okay? It's canning season. Take care, God bless.